work has. I will say trauma work has been the magic for me.
And that makes sense because it's more, it's less about like telling us that our thoughts are wrong. It's about telling us that our brain and our body are kind of like responding in a way that they don't need to. So that makes more sense to me, that like, yes, you saw something, there is something there, but also you're okay. It hurts, but you're okay. Because brains don't like that. Hurt equals pain equals death for brains. And so I think that's part of that makes sense to me from like a health standpoint, as opposed to like, well, just stop thinking about it.
Well, and my
Okay.
brain stopped thinking, ha 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 ha.
Okay.
Even after all the trauma work, so my brain used to be repetitive and anxious. Now it's not anxious, but it's repetitive. I can say some bad words. It is. I will think
And I,
something a
yeah,
thousand times. Like that is just how it
talk
goes.
about this all the time with clients and with my students too. It's like my brain comes up with the wackiest stuff. And that it doesn't mean anything. Like I was, after I dropped my kid off at school this morning, driving under a bridge where the train was just sitting there. It wasn't moving. And my brain said, the train's going to break the bridge and it's all going to come crashing down on you. And I was like, that's terrible. But thanks to like therapy that's been helpful for me, I don't have to like grab onto that thought and let it like pull me around the rest of my day. Like I can go like, oh, that's a weird thought.
Well, and let's look at this through. So traditional forms of therapy would say that's an anxious thought, right? Um, but in the neurodivergent world, how would you look at it? I can say my 2 cents, but what would you do differently?
A couple of different options. One option is like, okay, that's a thought. Like your brain has tons of thoughts. Thoughts are just like weather. It comes, it goes. Like, I wish this weather would go PS. It would be nice if it would be a little cooler. But also I can't do anything about it. So why would I sit there and spend energy and time trying to fight with the weather when it's just something that comes and goes? So
And
that's one way. And then
cognitively
also,
challenge it. Like
yeah.
that's a waste of time, right? Yeah.
So,
Okay.
the other way I could look at it is like my brain is so good at watching for potential danger, and like thank goodness I would not like to get crushed by a train. Thanks brain for looking out for me. That's really nice.
So yours is like an act perspective. So
Yes.
I would do, and where I've been going lately is like, do you have a sensory visual sensitivity? So I'm like, you just see everything in the environment, and danger is one of the things, but you'll notice everything. Whereas other brains might see two things, and not that they're not as smart as us, but maybe they're not. And you see all of it. And so you can't get rid of that. This is how I kind of introduce the neurodivergence thing. You will never stop your brain from doing that thing.